welcome to the Ministry of Tourism special interview program, Tourism One-on-One, where we explore topical issues affecting our tourism sector following its record post-pandemic recovery. I'm Kingsley Roberts, your host, and with me today is Group Marketing Manager of local bedding manufacturer, Morgan's Group, Mr. Aswad Morgan. Welcome, Mr. Morgan.
Thanks for having me.
Today we examine the growth of the company and how it has benefited from various initiatives undertaken by the Tourism Enhancement Fund, the TEF, including through its Tourism Linkages Network. Mr. Morgan, tell us, when was Morgan's Group established?
So the Morgan's Group was established in 1974 through one of our subsidiaries, Morgan's Industries. Both my parents, Mr. Kenneth Morgan and Mrs. Joycelyn Morgan, decided that they wanted to start their own business. My father was a structural engineer and my mother was a registered nurse. They got married in 72, had me in 73, decided to start the business in 74, and the rest is history. Morgan's Industries produced solid mahogany furniture for the local market and later got into exports in the early 80s and were quite successful in doing so and happened to be the largest suppliers of furniture out of Jamaica to the Eastern Caribbean, into North America, into parts of Central America and the French-speaking islands, and served as the platform for the rest of the businesses that we're in today. In 82, we started Polyflex Foam, which is the largest producer of poly or urethane foam here in Jamaica and in the rest of the Caribbean. It's a first world operation. We supply foam for the upholstery industry, furniture industry, bedding industry, etc. And because of our now deeper integration into the manufacturing and furniture and Therapeutic International, who were among the top 5 largest bedding groups in the world, approached us for representation here in Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. And as entrepreneurial as we were at the time, and we saw a great opportunity for us to increase our vertical integration, we took up on that venture and started Therapeutic, which is the bedding operation within the group. So all the companies, Morgan's Industries, Polyflex, Therapeutic, all fall under the Morgan's Group.
Oh, okay.
And then in 1995, as crazy as we were, and certainly with manufacturing deep in our bloodline, we started another plant called Jumbalon, Jamaica in 95, where we produced low density polyethylene foam. And we're heavy, was the only facility of its kind in the entire Western Hemisphere. And then of course we got into our final business under the group, Brand Hill Distribution, where because we were so heavily invested in the tourism industry with supplies to the hotels through our bedding operation, and the relationships were so strong, we decided that we're going to get into some amount of distribution, and it came off very well.
So when it's distribution, explain a bit for us.
Yeah, so the distribution side of the business now allowed us to import materials. So it's the first time that we're getting into that sort of thing. And so we started off with dinnerware, glassware, silverware, and did quite a number of hotel contracts with that. But of course, the pandemic came shortly after and kind of, gave us a bit of a hit. But business is still there, and we're still focused. So all the companies fall under the Morgan's Group.
Okay.
And
it's primarily manufacturing.
Primarily manufacturing.
All right. So you mentioned some of the products, but just take us through now the list of the products that you manufacture.
We manufacture, as I said, we started off. We're no longer doing furniture anymore.
Okay.
But we're now heavily into producing polyurethane foam. Polyurethane foam with different types of foam within the product, like flexible foam, rigid foam, insulation, We're recently doing dry fast foam for especially for the hospitality sector. This foam doesn't absorb water, so you find them on almost all hotel um, properties, all their furniture that's on the outdoors, that interact with the rain, or those people at the poolside or the beachside. All that foam that is used there is all dry fast foam. And of course, we do viscoelastic memory foam. Memory foam is the foam that was designed and created for the NASA space program.
Okay.
When the astronauts were taking off into space, they needed something to brace them and to comfort them while they with all that G-force going up.
Oh.
They took that foam now out of that industry and put it into the bedding industry, and it is the fastest growing category of foam anywhere in the world. So we manufacture that here, and it ends up in our premium bedding lineup, So
So how many people do you employ?
a total of 120 people,
Okay.
thereabout. We're hovering in that region. We have 4 locations. Our head office at 68 Lady Musgrave Road, where we kind of direct traffic. All our major main departments are situated there: finance, purchasing, marketing, sales, accounting. Everybody is there. And then each of the plants now, the foam operation, Polyflex, is at Padmore Drive, number 1 Padmore Drive, and it has its own production team headed by our plant manager, and a similar setup like that now, a 40,000 square foot facility in Portmore at Naggohead, producing all the mattresses and stuff. Our plant manager again, supervisory teams, and the production teams there. And we have another plant in the Crossroads area where we produce the polyethylene foam.
So how has it been as an entrepreneur managing, especially
You know,
in light of all the challenges?
and I would say there's been a lot of challenges. Manufacturing in Jamaica hasn't been an easy thing over the years. Policies did not necessarily support the manufacturing trade, but that is what we knew. That's what we wanted to pursue, and I would like to think that we've done a particularly good job with it. We're very nationalistic and very everything for Jamaica. Employment has been a major thing for us. Manufacturing does take up a lot of employment and so on, and we're particularly proud about that, because not only the number of people that we have currently, but certain amount of people that have passed through our hands, and we're helping to put food on the table for multiple families over the years.
So what type of business do you do with players in the tourism sector? You've hinted at some of it. Just give us some more
Sure.
details.
Therapeutic, our bedding operation would have started in '84, and in 1999, to be specific, we would have made our first major big push into the hotel sector. Rio Tropical Bay came to Jamaica with the idea that they were going to be building a 396 room hotel at Bloody Bay in Negril. And I remember clearly the director of construction had shown a keen interest in buying locally.
Right.
And we were asked at the time, through a linkages event, to bring our sample product along with other manufacturers to the Wyndham Hotel at the time
That
in
was
New
what
Kingston.
the speed networking
It wasn't
event, was
speed
it, or was it
networking. It was just
Christmas in July?
no. It was called. I think at the time it was called more or less like a linkages event
Oh, so
at
it
the
was an
time.
initial initiative of the Tourism Linkages
Right,
Network.
right. And through Jampro and everything, were
Mm-hmm.
involved in that at the time. So the director came through, looked at all what the local manufacturers had to offer, and immediately gave us an invitation to come to Negril for further discussion on it, right? And that for us, when we looked at that opportunity, we said we have to take this one, because I always say, you're as good as your last job. And every time I used to go knocking on a hotel door, the first question I asked, so who did you do lately? Well, which hotels did you do? So when we got that project, we did about 4 visits to Negril at the time. And it's not like today where I can get to Negril in 3 hours.
Right.
It was a long drive. Went down a couple of times, sharpened the pencils, and we came to a deal. And we decided, and I remember telling my father at the time, I said, Dad, we're not going to make any money on this based on the price point that they're looking for. But we make a promise that we're going to use this as our strong starting point and as our foundation.
So you
And
just wanted a foothold.
we just wanted a
Exactly.
foothold, and wanted that the next time that I walked into a hotel and they asked me, "Who did you do last time?" I could
Right.
say Rio. And we took it as a serious commitment, and we were able to supply the 396 rooms in under 6 weeks. Mattresses, bases, and it worked with flying cars, and that wasn't exclusively because we had to supply them and keep our other customers
Right,
happy at the
right.
same time. So we did everything well, and of
And it grew
course
from there.
it opened the doors to all the other successes that we've had over the years.
So who are some of your other clients now in tourism?
So, shortly after that, the Bahia Principe came. I think they're probably up to now about 1,000 to 1,200 rooms here in Jamaica. Again, once they came in, we immediately we got the contract to supply, and again they went on a phased basis, 500 rooms, 800 rooms, and they took it up up the line. And all of those projects that we would have done, including Bahia Principe, Melea, Secrets Resorts, done a lot of work with Sandals, with Couples, GoldenEye, Half Moon. We simultaneously did major supplies to all the rooms for the Jewel resorts, which included Jewel Grand in Montego Bay, Jewel Runaway Bay, Jewel Paradise Cove in Runaway Bay. We did Jewel's Duns River, and we did Hilton Rose Hall, 5 of them all at the same time.
Wow.
And that was incredible. You're talking about, Rose Hall being like 400 and something plus rooms at the time. All the other hotels had like, upwards of 250 to 300 rooms at the time. And again, we were able to do it successfully. We're particularly happy about the Jewel contract at the time too, because it was at that time that Sagicor had ownership of the Jewel Group, and they were very, very, very insistent that they were not going to import any mattresses at all for that project, and they're going to use their local suppliers here,
Right.
and engaged us. In fact, asked us and our competitors to do a full audit of our plant. They got Hilton quality assurance,
So you had to
international.
expand to facilitate
No, we
those
didn't.
kind of
We
contracts?
didn't. We didn't. But they asked us to just come in and do a full assessment of our plant. We filled out presented like a 40-page document from their international quality assurance, and filled it out. They came with a team of 3 people from the US, did a full inspection of the plant. We produced a sample for them along a particular spec that they asked for, and we came out on top, and we were designated their preferred supplier for the next 3 years at the time.
Right.
But it's gone way beyond that now.
Right.
And you asked about capacity. It has always been our policy to continue to reinvest in the business.
Right.
So we did not at the time, we didn't have to buy any new machinery or anything, because we already had the capacity there to take on whatever. And we just continue to just reinvest, and keep upgrading the machinery that we have.
That brings us to the end of our program. Thanks for joining us today, Mr. Morgan.
Thanks again.
Thanks to our viewers for tuning in. Join us next week when we conclude our discussion on the growth of the Morgans Group and how it has benefited from various initiatives undertaken by the Tourism Enhancement Fund, the TEF, including through its Tourism Linkages Network. Take care and see you soon.